A new day, Hastings, August 25th. The day that murder came to Seadrift Island. What have we learned? Much of the mystery seems to swirl around Mrs. Marshall, or Alena Stewart as her fans call her. You agree?
Yes, that seems clear.
And two mysteries are solved. The photograph is found beneath Major Barry's pillow. The typewriter of the most charming Mademoiselle Darnley is discovered beneath the bed of the Redferns. Christine Redfern has reason to send such notes, perhaps? Her husband's attentions to Mademoiselle Stewart are obvious to all. At last, there is the murder unsolved of Millie Parsons. Why does Mademoiselle Brewster ask Poirot to take it up? Several of the guests at the Smuggler's Rest Hotel appear to have in common Brixham, the place where she died. Mademoiselle Brewster, Stephen Lane, the former vicar, even Mademoiselle Linda Marshall, who it now appears was a student at Millie's school.
Yes, Miss Porter's school for young ladies. What happened there?
Voodoo rituals? An anthropology teacher awakens in fear to the pounding of the pagan drums?
Voodoo? Nonsense, if you ask me.
Perhaps. But as Miss Darnley said, not nonsense to those who believe. And do not forget Tom Cutter's ghost. We saw.
I admit that gave me a turn. But ghosts? Voodoo? Poirot, even for you, this case has elements of the sensational. No sensible person could credit.
Perhaps. But I will give you the very important clue. Think on the nature of Alena Stewart. Watch as the investigation proceeds, Hastings. Until we can understand fully and completely exactly the kind of person Alena Stewart was, we shall not be able to see clearly the kind of person who took her life. As before, if you find yourself unable to progress, I will assist with the magic of the Finger of Suspicion.
Ah, yes. Time now for a fourth clue to its secret.
The clue is drawer.
Power, lamp, desk, drawer. Do I search the drawer for a switch, perhaps? Or is it something more subtle?
I say no more. When you are ready, my friend, we will return to Seadrift Island. It is a morning of sunshine, warm breezes, and a murder most foul.
Morning, Monsieur Poirot. Any more thoughts about what we found in the ruins?
Poirot always has the thoughts, Monsieur Lane. Who can tell which will prove to be most significant? What are your plans for this morning?
I've heard there's a fine church in these parts, St. Patrick in the Coombe. I'm going to try and track it down.
What illness forced you to leave your position?
It was... I confess it was nerves, Monsieur Poirot.
I did not mean to intrude.
No, it's quite all right. No sense in my hiding the fact. Women, they are so often at the source of evil.
Do you think so?
Man alive, don't you feel it in the air? All around you. We spoke of it yesterday at the ruins. The presence of evil.
Oui, Monsieur Lane, I feel it. I am able to assist you in your search, I think.
Oh?
I found this pamphlet at the establishment of Mrs. Hughes in Leathercombe Bay.
Oh, this is marvelous. And there's a map and everything. Let's see, it'll make a fine hike over the moors, too. Thank you so much.
Monsieur Lane, I wonder if I may ask you the questions somewhat painful.
Your kind gift has lifted my spirits considerably. I will answer if I can.
Your church was near Brixham, I believe.
Oh, yes, I had a small living there. Why?
Are you familiar with Mrs. Potter's school for young ladies?
Why, oh, yes, Miss Potter herself and several of the girls attended my church. Not as many as I would have liked, but some.
Do you recall the Conservatoire de Dance near there?
Oh, yes. Miss Brewster, who is stopping here, was an instructor there.
Does the name Millie Parsons mean anything to you?
The murder. Yes, it It caused quite a sensation. A teacher at Miss Porter's was accused. No charges were brought. Simply the ruin of a man's reputation. He may have been misguided, even driven. But the Parsons girl brought it upon herself. Of that I am convinced. And then, only a few weeks later, another murder. They must have been connected. And of that second crime, he was wholly innocent, I have no doubt. So what he said in a moment of weakness...
What did this teacher say to you?
I may no longer be of the cloth, Mr. Poirot, but I will keep the confidences learnt while I was still in God's service.
Even if it allows a murderer to go free?
Please! God must judge, not I.
Tell me of the second crime.
It received quite a bit of press at the time. Alice Corrigan was the name. Strangled, as was the Parsons girl. The husband was suspected, but again, no arrest was ever made. I'm convinced the two crimes were the work of one man.
And the motive?
Women are at the heart of many tragedies.
In this case, they were the victims of tragedy.
Can you doubt? They brought it upon themselves, through fornication, adultery, and godlessness.
It is my nature to doubt, Monsieur Lane.
Yes, of course. You're a detective. Still, I would think your experience would have paid witness to the truth of my words. I may have misunderstood and unburdened myself too freely. I must be off if I hope to reach the church and be back before it gets too late. Thank you again for the information.
Fellow is right round the bend, Poirot. He practically admitted he knew Millie Parsons' killer, yet did nothing because she was a girl, and somehow deserved it? That's monstrous.
It is true he appears to be quite selective when it comes to forgiveness and compassion. Yet it may very well be that decision to keep silent caused his breakdown. His pain runs deep, and the struggle, it continues. There may be hope for him still. The door. Mademoiselle, if I may have a moment of your time?
I only have a few minutes, Monsieur Poirot. I'm meeting Mrs. Redfern at Sanctuary Cove at 10:30.
I will come straight to the point, mademoiselle. You were a student at Miss Porter's School for Young Ladies in Brixham, were you not?
I was. I'm not anymore, though.
Millie Parsons was a classmate of yours?
Yes.
A close friend?
Nah, not really. We knew her, my friends and I, to speak to. She seemed a harmless sort. Rather sweet, actually.
Why did you leave school?
Monsieur Poirot, I like you. But I'm not sure you have the right to ask me that question.
Did you know an instructor named Gideon Fell?
Yes, we had him for anthropology.
He was a poor teacher?
He was all right, I guess. I am very interested in anthropology. That helped, I suppose.
What most interested you in the class?
Superstition. Much of what we call superstition has a basis in fact. Religious practices and so on.
You did not like him?
At first, he seemed all right. He took several of us to the picture show to see a horror film called Curse of the Islands.
The film, it was frightening to you?
A bit, I suppose. But I found it quite interesting, actually. But then he started acting strangely towards some of the girls. He was creepy. Always making comments to girls when he thought no one could hear. Complimenting them on how they looked.
This interest, it was more than politeness?
A lot more.
Was he interested in Millie Parsons?
She told me he had followed her once in the woods. He grabbed her wrist. When she tried to break away, he said how much he liked her hair and her frock. She broke away and threatened to tell Miss Porter. She said he looked at her with his face all twisted up. It was horrible, she said.
Millie told Miss Porter of this incident?
No. One of the other girls had already complained and she did nothing. She accused the girl of trying to make trouble for Mr. Fell because he gave her bad marks.
After Millie's death, you said nothing of Mr. Fell?
I did. The police looked into it. They said he had an alibi. But I knew. My friends and I knew. You don't believe me, do you?
Au contraire, I have known many alibis that seemed unbreakable, only to shatter as easily as glass when the right force was applied.
He did it, Monsieur Poirot. He killed Millie. I have to change into my swimming costume now. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Thank you for speaking with me.
I say, Poirot, do you think you can break this Fell character's alibi?
If I can, Hastings, Miss Brewster and the police will have their answer. These are the binoculars.
Monsieur Poirot?
Good morning, Madame Marshall. I regret I have not yet found the writer of those notes.
I wouldn't worry myself if I were you. In fact, I'd like you to forget about them.
You have learned the identity of the author?
Yes. And if there's any further bother, I will deal with it myself. Is that clear?
That could be dangerous. An argument will not assist us, Hastings. Better to comply. I will do as you ask. That is a scent most charming that you wear.
Thank you. You're very kind. It's an expensive indulgence, especially for the beach. But I like it so.
You are going for the swim?
No. I wanted to use a float.
Use this one with my compliments.
You won't be using it.
No, I am certain of that.
Do something for me, will you?
Anything. Hastings, do not become smitten with this woman. She is charming, yes, but it will cloud your ability to investigate.
Sorry, Poirot. She's just so damned attractive.
Don't tell anyone where I am. Everyone will follow me about, so I just want for once to be alone.
She wants to be alone? I don't believe that for a minute.
Very good, Hastings. You read her character well. I concur. She has the rendezvous, I think. But with whom?
Morning, Poirot. Seen my wife anywhere about?
Has Madame risen so early?
She's not in her room. Lovely day. Think I'll have a bathe right away. Got a lot of typing to do this morning.
Morning, Marshal.
You look for Madame Redfern?
Christine is off sketching somewhere.
I say, it's that North chap again.
What course of action do you suggest, Hastings?
Ask Mrs. Redfern to make a sketch of him.
An excellent idea, my friend. Then Colonel Weston can send a picture to Scotland Yard for identification.
N20, E15, N19. Poirot, they could be a map. The number of paces north, east, then north again.
And the starting point?
Albert Bagby at the Monk's Hood Inn told you that Tom Carter would spend hours on the island's summit. It was his favourite spot on the island. And we found Gardner poking about up there as well. I'll bet he's come to the same conclusion I have. This is a map to Tom Cutter's treasure.
Monsieur Poirot, thank you again for the sketch pad.
It is my pleasure, madame.
I intend to make good use of it today.
Madame, do you have the time to make this small sketch for Poirot?
Why? I'd be delighted to. It's the least I can do.
There is a man at the landing of the sea tractor. Do you think you could make the portrait of him?
I don't see why not. I've a little time before Linda will be ready.
And madame, if you could contrive to do so without his knowledge? What will you sketch today?
I'm meeting Linda at Sanctuary Cove at 10:30. While she swims, I will sketch her Gillimores for her.
You are kind to take an interest in her.
She's having a rough time of it, I'm afraid.
I believe you are correct. A friend now will be of great help, I think.
Oh, I must say it's rather exciting having a detective on holiday.
Monsieur Poirot, any luck with finding my typewriter?
Oui, mademoiselle. This is it, is it not?
Yes, indeed. Wherever did you find it?
I would rather not say at present.
You are being most mysterious.
It is my nature to be mysterious, I am afraid.
Well, I'm happy to have it back. Thank you. Please let me know if there is any way I can repay you.
I will? Where are you off to, may I ask?
The Ledgers to read my book. It's a rather good thriller by Graham Greene. Do you know his work?
Bien, he is an excellent writer.
Then I've a tennis date with Ken, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Redfern and Mr. Gardner at 12. I'll just put this typewriter in my room, then I'm off.
Enjoy your day, mademoiselle.
And you, Monsieur Poirot. And thanks again.
North 20, east 19, then north 15. Let's see where we end up, shall we?
1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20. Eh bien. Now east. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 11, 12. Hastings. 3 more steps will put me in the center of the... What did you call it?
The ad service court. Poirot, something is buried there. That's why the ground keeps settling. Dig! Dig!
Against my better judgment?
A treasure chest! Oh, that's...
Yes, Hastings. We've uncovered the spot where the monks, they dumped their old brandy casks. Congratulations.
I was so sure.
I suggest another visit to Monsieur Bagby, if you insist on pursuing this.
Good idea, old fellow. First you'd better finish filling in the hole and raking the tennis court.
This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder.
Hello? Need...
Yes, please?
On me way. Mr. Poirot, I wanted to thank you for helping to clear up the misunderstanding between Gladys and me. How she could think I'd ever be interested in that schoolgirl is beyond me. I can't help it if some foolish child decides on her own to start hanging about the garage. I know it sounds silly, but I think she was only doing it because she wanted to pinch my shovel.